Isn't asking questions good, or does it show a weakness?
You mean of a producer?
Yeah.
About it does, but there's only so much time you're going to have in the office, and then they almost want you to be like, you know, and if there isn't a shorthand between you and the producer, like we've worked together for 5 years, you don't know what they mean, and so if you start going, I don't understand what you, and then it's never going to be upon them to go, well, I'm not communicating properly. It's going to be, you don't understand. Yeah, I understand. One time I was in a meeting with a producer, and I had never worked with him before, and I was working on assignment, and he said something off the cuff, which was kind of insulting, like, could you explain it to him? It's like screenwriting 101. And I was like, and it went over my head, and I thought, oh my gosh, he just insulted me. And I let it go, but I was like, who are you talking? I get it, but you don't get it. I don't know how you work. You're all over the place. I'm trying to grasp a thing which changes to another thing, and I'm like, but you can't be,
right.
You can't say that. You know, you can, it's a fine line. You got to know how to you know, apply yourself when you need to and not. Just like with fighting your battles with notes, you know. The situation, I worked with a producer who then handed me off to the executive producers who I never worked with. And he went off to do something else. And now I was with them, and I was the defender of our screenplay. The last line of defense, right? And so they were talking by Skype and this and that, and they say, well, we want to change this thing at the end. I was like, oh, no. I said, we really work. So I decided to make that my battle. It wasn't a battle, but, you know, I mean, to talk back and discuss it. And I really hit home because I knew if they started pulling these linchpins out, it was just going to be like, are you... Oh. And they had their own reasoning, which I guess. And so I defended it, and then there was this big silence, and the producer is quiet, and he's like, okay, moving on. I was like, I won that battle. I wasn't going to win 2 battles. You know, now if he has another thing that I have a problem with and turns back on me and I'm the problem. So you really have to know your battles and pick and choose them, because you don't want to be, even if it's a perception that you're a difficult, like every time we have a note, is this writer going to be, you know, fighting us?
Right.
No. On the ones that I really have to fight, I will fight. And I think that they will appreciate that you just don't roll over, that you're thinking, like you said, ask questions. Why are we doing this? And a lot of times, no one knows the script like the writer, because you've lived and breathed every character and everything. And it's easy just to say, well, make that change, because they're looking at bigger picture things, not the details. And you have to be the one there going, oh, you know, this might not be a good idea because of this. And they're like, oh. And then you convince them and they go, oh yeah, you're right. I think that's better. Or they go, this writer, you know, is a collaborator. It's not going to be like a scribe and go, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, whatever you'd like, you know. It's a fine line. You don't want to fight, you got to pick and choose wisely.